Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to react to Mr. Nightmare 3 True Dog Walking Horror Stories. I know this is a video, I'm pretty sure Dog Walking Horror Stories or some sort of dog horror stories is something that has been done in the past before with him. And I say this, it seems like I say this every single Mr. Nightmare reaction. It seems like he's just recycling old content. And I mean, what else can you do? You know what I mean? With the quarantine, 2020 was a shit year. Not a lot of people were doing a lot of things. So the less shit people do, the less horror stories that produce. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, it makes sense just to kind of recycle old stories and shit like that. Or maybe he has old... I know a lot of the times he had old videos that might have got deleted or got a strike or something like that, and he just re-uploads it later on in time. I don't know. These might be new stories, and it's just crazy to me how regular day shit can just turn into horror stories so often. Like, I'd be surprised if there was 5 dog walking horror stories in the world. There's probably fucking 500. This is the second time I've ever seen dog walking horror stories. I know there was a couple I seen a while ago. There was one where a guy's dog chased off something in the woods, never to be seen again. You know what I mean? These ones are kind of just subtle. You know, the ones that are the scariest, I feel like, are Home Alone horror stories, because those are the ones that people are always scared of. When you're home alone, you're having a good time. You ever be like playing games or something like that? You're gaming, and then you're home alone, and then all of a sudden you hear just a subtle crack in the floor. You know you're home alone, and it just shuts your mood off for 10 minutes. You're on alert for 10 minutes. Everything just seems to go quiet. You're fucking alert. So, like, Home Alone horror stories definitely hit home with me. I don't know about you guys. I feel like that's the way it would with a lot of people. Dog walking horror stories, I don't know how scary this can get. I'm hoping it'll get scary. You know what I mean? I'm going to get scared out of my boots. I'm just so, like, immune to these fucking horror stories because I watch them all the time. Not even just listen to Mr. Nightmare's horror stories. I also watch, like, animated horror stories. I love that shit. There's this guy, MJV Animations, who does a phenomenal job, and I've been meaning to get onto those reactions, but every time he uploads video, I'm either at work or I'm off doing something else. So I'm going to be trying to get onto a reaction for the MJV Animations. But yeah, Mr. Nightmare 3 True Dog Walking Horror Stories. Let's jump on into the video. Dog walking horror stories. Let's get into it.
I take my dog Hemi for a walk twice a day and let him in the yard once.
Hey, I like that name.
When I take him for a walk around the neighborhood, I always try to take different routes just to keep it from getting repetitive, not just for me, but for Hemi as well. Oftentimes on the weekends, I take him for longer walks since I have more free time, and I don't have the stress of other work-related things still lingering in my mind.
Yes.
On a cloudy, humid Saturday evening, it was one of those times that I decided to take him on a long walk.
Fuck you, Hemi, Henny, whatever your name is, I ain't taking you out, bro.
We were in a part of the neighborhood I wasn't too familiar with. I found a walking trail that was part of the town's huge nature preserve. It was a rather low-key path.
What the
There didn't
fuck
seem to
was
be
that
any other
noise in the
people on it but
background?
me. It was a rather narrow path with woods on either side. It wasn't a cement bike path like the other trails in the preserve. Hemi led the way, pulling the leash harder than usual, probably excited by all the new random smells he was picking up. Eventually on the trail, we passed this little square park. It had a swing set and little playground, along with a basketball court, or rather what was once a basketball court, as there were no hoops. I decided to walk in through the little opening, as Hemi was going crazy over something.
Do you ever see that shit where it's just like straight cement? It's where a basketball court used to be, and every time it could be at an old high school, something like that, an abandoned park. You see this fucking, you know, like, beautiful piece of pavement that definitely used to be a basketball court, and there was basketball hoops up, but some little bastard kid, no matter how many new backboards they put up, how many new ropes they add to it, some kid always yanks out the rope, makes it just a fucking hoop, bends it like this, and breaks the backboard, and they say, you know what, fuck it, screw you, and they cut down a goddamn basketball hoop, and it's just straight a fucking square piece of pavement, and still kids still know how to have fun with that shit. Kids know how to have fun with anything. I didn't know how to say that sentence.
I'm just sitting on one of the benches facing the playground to take a break because I was getting a little tired, but when I sat down, Hemi kept pulling and started barking at something. He'd only really do that when he saw another dog or animal, sometimes people, but less often. So I entertained him and got up and started giving him slack to run towards whatever he thought he saw. I looked into the woods but couldn't see anything. The closer we got, the more aggressive Hemi got, until he was basically choking himself with the collar, trying to pull me into the woods.
Man, dogs are stupid. All dogs do that shit for whatever reason.
He was laughing and saying, "Whoa, whoa, he caught me." I told Hemi to calm down and pulled him away from the woods. And the man. I apologized for my dog and walked away, as the way in which he came out from that tree was bizarre. He said it's all good, dude, as he seemed to follow in the direction we were walking. Hemi kept looking back and barking. I continued to tug him forward. Eventually, I had to turn around and ask if there was something I could help him with, as he even seemed to follow me outside of the park and onto the trail. He put his arms up in the air and smiled. Then he said he just wants to pet my dog.
Man, dogs have this amazing sense. You know what I mean? This dog, like, it just sees the person, but it's there fucking howling at him. Oh, and he goes, whoa, dude, you caught me. Dude's just sitting in the woods. All right, red flags immediately. I wouldn't even be nice to the guy. You know, I'm just kidding. I always say situations like that, I wouldn't be nice to him, but I'm such a passive person. Like, the situation plays differently in my mind, all right? I'm an asshole. But seriously, like, the dog's barking, he's there watching. He's got an eye on him because he doesn't trust this fool. Dogs know trust. They're loyal. You get what I'm saying? They know trust. They have sense off this dude. I wouldn't have trusted him either. I would have been in agreement with my dog that I don't trust this fool. He's just chilling in the middle of the woods, but the guy's being friendly. Oh, you got me and shit like that. Were you trying to play hide and seek? Do you know this fool? Do you know this fool, Hemi? What the fuck? Are you cheating on me with another owner?
I said, nah, he doesn't like you, man. We're just gonna walk our own way. He didn't reply, so I turned and continued walking, faster now.
He's already being a dick.
Hemi kept turning around and growling.
He got pissed
and
off
every
and
time
I
I'd
just
look
like
back, he'd be the same distance away from me, kind of off the trail a bit, half hiding behind the trees like he thought he was being slick. I was about to call back at him to piss off, but then it hit me this guy might be dangerous. I started running down the trail until I came to the little opening we entered from, and exited through that. Back on the streets, Hemi would keep looking back as we ran, but I'd have to tug him to keep running. We ran all the way back to my house without stopping. I actually do cardio regularly, so I wasn't concerned about that guy keeping
Subtle
up.
flex in the
I
middle.
highly doubted it.
I should do
especially
cardio.
since
You
Hemi
got tired
stopped
from
looking
walking the
back
fucking
eventually.
dog, though, you bitch.
It was now a couple hours after getting back. Hemi was in his bed, which was right next to mine, when he unexpectedly lifted his head to look at the window, and growled. At first I thought it was because of the sound of the rain droplets that had just begun to hit the outside of the window. I was thinking about getting up out of bed to close the window, even though I was already comfortable in
That's
bed.
not good. That doesn't
Then it
sound like the
happened.
window's already
A
open.
voice speaking into the window. A voice I recognized from a few hours ago, asking if I knew why he was in the woods. Hemi started going crazy. I jumped in my skin and turned to the window. I couldn't see his features or face, but I could see the outline of his body at my window.
Ah.
I yelled, "What do you want?" He calmly asked if I saw what he was doing in the woods. I told him no, and he asked me, "Are you sure?" I said yes with a tremble in my voice. He said okay, and I saw the outline of his body move away from the window. Hemi stopped growling after a few moments.
Even if you've seen what he's just embarrassed. He goes, he got a micro penis. He doesn't want people to know. He was just taking a piss against the tree. And then he's like, did you see anything in those woods that I should know about? You know what I mean? But still, this guy, I mean, truly he said he didn't see anything. Or else he would have added that in the story. But I wonder if, now I'm curious. Because now I hate this shit. Because now I want to figure out what this fool was doing. What, was he burying a body? Carrying a body? He's probably doing something with the body that we don't want to fucking know about. He's hiding something that you didn't want to see. And he's just asking, even if you did see what this guy was doing in the woods, the answer is always no in that situation. It's kind of like driving down the street and you know your taillight's broken and a cop pulls you over and be like, hey, do you know your taillight's broken? The answer's always no, even if it's yes or no. You always say no. Do you see me bury that body? No, what body? No, what body? What are you talking about, bro? Like... Always with that shit.
Closed the window and latched it. I wouldn't have been able to sleep that night without calling the police. I told them I was followed by someone in the park, and that he came to my window.
Please tell
The
me you find out
dispatcher
what
asked
he
if
did.
the man left, and I told her to my knowledge, yes. She said if he were to come back, to call 911 again. She implied it was
So
a
that way
busy
you can come
night
and
since it was a
watch
Saturday.
again.
I did feel comfort
Listen,
knowing
you don't
Henry
want to
would
hear
give
that
me
from a
warning
cop.
at least if he were to come back. He didn't end up coming back though, thank God.
Because she said no.
The man's words, "Did you see what I was doing in the park?" still don't really make sense to me. I wonder if you were implying he was doing something he didn't want others to see, and that he was worried I witnessed it.
Probably.
That alone would raise even more questions.
That's why he's fucking asking. That pisses me off because I don't know what he did. I want to know now, honestly.
It was a regular night in the summer of 2010. I was taking my dog Poppy out for his nighttime walk.
Oh, Poppy.
I usually take the same route. Sometimes I'll stray down one different block. Not always, though. This one night, I branched off a familiar block to a not-so-familiar one. All that I knew of this block was that there was an abandoned house on the corner. It's known as the Murder House.
Oh, lovely.
I've only ever passed it while driving.
And I decided to
The
walk
first time I
fucking
saw
in with
it,
my
I slowed
dog.
down just because it's such an eyesore, sticking out like a sore thumb from the rest of the houses. I never could understand why the town wouldn't just tear it down and build a new home, especially given the house's history. The reason no one ever bought it was because of the murder of a young woman inside, potentially by her boyfriend. He was never to be heard of again. No body, no signs of leaving, nothing. Walking down the block, I saw the house slowly getting closer.
He definitely added that in a little bit later. Did you hear that? He was like, you got murdered in there, potentially by your boyfriend. That shit went from like an actual mic to fucking iPhone. You get what I'm saying? It's like he finished editing. He goes, oh, I was supposed to say potentially by her boyfriend. That was supposed to be in the edit, and then he just added that shit in real quick. That was you. I get you were trying to be slick, Mr. Nightmare. I seen it though.
Planned on stopping in front of it to take a look, but Poppy actually stopped before I even did. Just looked at the house.
Dogs can see ghosts too.
I could tell by his ears and his head tilting that he was engaged by
something. I
looked around the neighboring houses, which were spaced out generously. And our neighborhood has a lot of green, meaning tons of bushes and trees lining the streets.
Oh, fucking green.
Plus, it was as dark as could get out, and the house was conveniently situated in a gap between the streetlights. It didn't seem like any of the neighbors could possibly be watching me from where I was, so I started walking onto the grass of the property, but Poppy stayed in place. He started to growl and make whimpering type sounds, like he was frustrated. I pulled him hard enough, and he started to follow onto the property. He was fixated on a window that was opened. I stepped onto the house-length front wooden deck and walked to the window. Poppy was still making growling and whimpering sounds. I pressed my face up to the screen of the window, surprised the window was even left open. I started to wonder if maybe someone was still managing this house in some way, whatever that would even mean. Inside the house was dark, but not pitch black.
To fuck around,
I could see the
or
walls
to
to the
live
empty
there.
living room.
So go
and then
away.
the opening in the wall that led to a back room with another window. As I was observing, I heard the sound of something inside the house, like a blunt object hitting the floor. It came from further back in the house, like in that back room. Having my dog with me gave me some kind of weird confidence boost to go through the side of the backyard.
Oh my god!
The backyard was literally huge. The grass was very tall.
Oh my god. Cause your dog's with you? What's your dog gonna do? Answer me that. What is your fucking dog gonna do? Like, you're like, I hear a metal thud. You're not Scooby-Doo. You're not the cops. Butt out. You hear that shit, you be like, oh, that's creepy. Back the fuck out that situation. Straight up. Curve that hoe. Like, don't even fucking go in there, because then you're like, my dog gave me some kind of confidence to go check out the house and go far in the back, further away from the exit as possible. You know what I mean? So it's like my dog gave me weird confidence. What's your dog gonna do? He's gonna be the one to get shot first. That's what's gonna happen. When your dog gets shot, you're either gonna grieve there, staring at him, be like, no, bang, you're gonna get killed, or you're gonna see that, you're gonna fucking go, and then you're gonna get shot in the back. Or you're gonna get fucking beat to death with a blunt object. A baseball bat is gonna beat a dog any day, and after it beats the dog, it'll beat you too. Just fucking mind your business and keep it going.
I was likely wrong about any kind of property management. Only thing in the big yard was an old wooden decrepit-looking shed in the corner. The door to it was slightly open, but I was more curious about looking in through that window. As I looked inside, I couldn't see anything except an empty black room, probably what was once a mudroom. Poppy was looking at the
I just think it's funny to picture like him going in there with his dog, and then you see like a cult group, just a group of cult people sacrificing a goat, just fucking sitting there, guns blazing, chilling like that, and then it's just like, it's just guns blazing, shit chilling like that, and then you're just kind of like, I am making a citizen's arrest. You guys need to get the fuck out of here. Could you imagine like a fucking legit cult group? Or you could just see a bunch of hobos just like in like a beat-off circle, and you're like, this is terrible. This is private property. I'm making a citizen's arrest. Like, dead. Like, honestly, I just think it'd be funny to picture it.
Dead, not barking or growling though. He was kind of silent. I walked quietly towards the shed, tugging him slowly and softly to keep him quiet too. The door was open enough for me to look inside the giant shed. It was not empty. There weren't tools or bicycles or anything. There was just this skinny girl standing in the middle of the otherwise empty shed. I say girl, but I couldn't tell if it was just a girl or a woman.
It's a ghost, bruh.
Poppy suddenly went ballistic, barking and making these noises I could only describe as a dog's version of screaming. He wasn't pulling to go inside of the shed, he was pulling to get away. The girl's head inside the shed turned to the door and I ran. We ran. Poppy and I ran for 3 straight blocks until I was out of breath. Then we walked the rest of the way back to my house. I went to a house nicknamed Murder House, where a young woman was killed potentially by her boyfriend. And then I witnessed a young woman standing in the middle of that empty shed. I don't know if I believe it was an apparition, or just some girl by chance trying to explore that abandoned house.
You better hope it's apparition. You better hope this shit is paranormal and not real life, bruh. Because real people can hurt your ass. Ghosts can try. Takes a longer time, though, and it's probably less painful.
My brothers and I got our first dog. I'm the middle sibling, and it was always my older brother and I's job to walk the dog. Our dog's name was Nyla. Nyla was a golden retriever. My brother would walk her in the afternoon after school, and I would walk her at night. I don't remember anything about what kind of night it was. Cold, warm, weeknight, weekend, nothing. All the details I remember are what I'm including in my recounting of this experience. I was like halfway through my walk with Nyla when she looked across the street and her tail started wagging. She started barking and tugging to go say hi to this dog that was being walked by a man across the street. The man made the decision for the both of us to cross the street and allow our dogs to say hi. His dog was a very tiny, fluffy dog. I think it might have been a Maltese. His dog seemed very timid and like he didn't want to be bothered by Nyla. The man asked my name and I gave it to him, and he told me his name. I don't remember it, honestly. But we got into this long conversation about our dogs. He really seemed to like Nyla, and Nyla kind of liked him. He was telling me how his golden retriever had recently passed away, and he had a bunch of toys and dog supplies that he'd love to give me. I figured, why not? It's my lucky day. He said his house was around the block, so he led the way. I was walking kind of next to him, though, as we walked. We were in the street the rest of the way back, but the residential roads are usually quiet.
I thought both of you fuckheads were walking the dog. Where's your brother?
After kind of awkwardly walking back to his house, he let me in first.
You went in?
His house was okay, modest, nothing special.
Wait!
He led Nyla and I into the kitchen.
Wait outside and be like, you go ahead and grab it, I'll just wait right here with my fucking dog.
He asked me to have a seat on one of the stools by the island in the kitchen, and asked if I wanted anything to eat. He offered me a bag of chips, and I accepted it. He handed me a bag of some off-brand potato chips. Then he just sat on the stool next to mine and started petting Nyla. He was awfully close to me, and then he looked down at the bag of chips, I think, as if he were waiting for me to open it. I put it on the island in front of me. He just sat there petting Nyla, not saying much. I was wondering when he was going to get the dog supplies he promised. He didn't show any signs of doing that, though. Instead, he was asking me personal questions, making awkward small talk with me.
Did he drug a bag of chips, bro?
At one point, I remember he even patted my knee as if he were my father or something. I remember an overwhelming feeling of discomfort suddenly, so I finally asked about the collar, toys, and other supplies he mentioned. He said he'd be right back and go get it. He said it, not them. I remember picking up on that. He left through one of the 2 doorways in the kitchen. Then I heard him stomping downstairs to the basement. Moments later, I heard him call up to me to come downstairs and check out some of the stuff he wanted to give me.
Nah!
I got up just to walk over to the basement door, still deciding if I'd want to go down.
No, you don't want to go down.
Then Nyla started growling at something behind the open basement door. I looked, and there was someone crouched down in the dark hallway. I didn't really know what to think, but I just left the house in a hurry. I got home and didn't say anything to my family. I just went to my room the rest of the night, quiet and shooken up. It was the first and only time I ever felt I was about to be targeted for being a young age. My only explanation was there were 2 men in that house, and the second I'd walk into that basement, the other would have shut the door on me. I didn't tell any of my family about it simply because it made me uncomfortable and honestly slightly embarrassed. Telling the internet anonymously is completely different.
You want to feel embarrassed? This ain't the place to be, buddy. You fucking brain dead piece of shit motherfucker, stupid asshole. You fucking want to go in there. This random dude's house you've never met before. You're going to accept some of his food. You're going to have a drink of his, have a fucking coffee while you're there, chit chat about this shit. Why'd you go inside in the first place? Brought your dog inside? That's a good ass excuse, bro. Be like, yeah, you come on inside, and, you know, I'll get the shit for you. Be like, no, well, I'll just wait out here. I mean, she's in a hurry to go, so if you have some stuff, I'll take it, and then I'll leave. But if not, don't go in there. You're not there to be a fucking house guest. You're there to get some shit and go. Fuck off. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, anything else you want me to react to, leave it in the comments down below. I just said that really fast. link in the description is my gaming channel. Go peep that. You know what I mean? Hopefully some live streams soon. I haven't been active on there in a couple weeks, so I'm going to be trying to live stream a little bit soon. But, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe. Peace.